Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final part of Star Fox 64 3D. We've got a bit of a longer part here because we have some long missions ahead of us. We have Sector Z to begin with.
Oh man, I love this stage in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, weird that they made it off of such a difficult, like the most difficult stage to get to in 64.
It's also like
I think it's just because of the letter Z. Z's cool.
it's also like literally just the same stage in Melee. It's just with a different background. Which I always thought was weird because they then also brought back stages wholesale from Smash 64 in Melee. So I just didn't get it.
So yeah, this is an all-range mode mission where you have to protect the Great Fox from missiles.
Oh, that's just the entirety of Star Fox Command then. Okay.
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Dude, the missiles in Star Fox Command are the worst.
Needed to fucking stop.
Because like that's literally all you were doing at certain points was you just had to do the same missile minigame over and over and over again. And it never changed ever. At all. I wish that game were better than it actually was. Because I feel like it tried some cool things, but it like just ends up being too repetitive and boring, really. Did you get all the endings when you did your video on it, John?
No, I don't think I
There's
did.
a lot of them, so
There is a lot of them, yeah. I think I specifically mentioned a point where yeah, I looked up how many endings there were, and no, there's no point. just play a couple of times, and you're more than you've seen more than enough. You can easily watch all the other ones on YouTube.
There are 9 endings to the game. The first one you get is bad. It's just kind of like lame. You stop the frog guys, and then Crystal's like, "Oh, I can't be with you, Fox, cause."
Reasons.
And then there's like no like real like good ending either. They're all just really weird ending. Like there's the Slippy gets laid ending. There's the Fox gets laid ending. Falco doesn't get a Falco gets laid ending, I would like to point out, which is very funny. There's like the one where Andross comes back from the dead for no reason. Game's wild is just what I'm going to point out. And I kind of wish that they would bring back at least the playable R-Wings aspect into a new Star Fox game if they ever do one. Because like being able to play as like Falco or Slippy or Peppy and them all having their own differences is kind of cool. But I don't know when or if they'll ever do another Star Fox game. So it's kind of a moot point to think about sometimes.
Hard to believe we live in a world where F-Zero got newer content and Star Fox didn't.
I mean, people were kind of hoping that F-Zero would get content after Star Fox Zero got its game, but then it just didn't happen because the Wii U, Nintendo just thought we're not making anything else on the Wii U. Because how long was the distance between Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Command? It was a pretty decent amount of time, right? I guess there was this game.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. It just fucking flies off. It doesn't say anything else. You asked for this, Falco.
Yeah, it was like 10 years between Star Fox releases.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that they probably should do a full F-Zero game. Maybe full isn't the right word, because I know people love F-Zero 99, but I feel like they probably should do like a full retail F-Zero game before doing another Star Fox, if anything. But
I mean, that hasn't stopped them over the last 20 years.
I mean, granted, and I know it's kind of weird that people lump F-Zero and Star Fox together when they don't really have that much in common, other than being in space.
And even then, that barely qualifies for F-Zero anyway.
Yeah, they're like wherever the hell they want to be. They're sci-fi, I suppose. They have somewhat of a similar aesthetic. Damn, you must hate Falco.
He got in my way.
But I guess, yeah, do you think there's any hope for another Star Fox game in the somewhat near future? Like,
listen,
within
until
5 years?
unless they just blatantly say we're never making a game for this franchise ever again, nothing's impossible.
I mean, granted, yes, but like, how much demand do you think that there is for a new Star Fox?
That's hard to say. You know,
Coming next direct, Star Fox 99.
How'd you even
I play it.
do that?
99 player dogfight.
yeah, 99 player dogfight, or you fucking just Mario 35 it and everyone go through like Corneria together, and like as you're shooting enemies, they can spawn on the other enemy's screen, or you can fuck with other players' perception or such, like pick up power-ups and that sort of thing. You know, this is all very rough ideas, but I'm saying like I don't think it'd be impossible. Honestly, I think a Star Fox though is more likely than an F-Zero. Although,
Oh, really?
yeah, I mean, dude, like F-Zero's last game was GX. Like honest to God, like main like hardcore F-Zero game was GX, and that was 20 years ago. Like Star Fox is scattered, don't get me wrong. But Star Fox had Adventure, it had Assault, it had Command, it had Zero, it had 3D on a 3DS. Like it's Star Fox is starving, true, but it's not fucking it's not dead on the ground like F-Zero is.
So the thing here that makes me think that F-Zero is more likely than Star Fox is that F-Zero, at the very least, the path to a new game is extremely clear and obvious what they do. AKA just make a freaking racing game and give it online. Like that's all you need to do. I feel like, and we talked a little bit about this in earlier parts, but I feel like Star Fox inherently is a harder sell for many people, especially if they try to do full retail price. Because ultimately it's just this. It's just flying and shooting. I feel like the games have never had that much depth. I mean, there's depth. This game isn't mindless, but I feel like in the modern era, you would have a harder time selling a public on a new Star Fox than a new F-Zero, especially considering that Nintendo has more recent knowledge of what's going on. Like, oh, we released Star Fox Zero and nobody bought it. Versus it's been a long time since we've done any F-Zero game, so you know that
F-Zero is being received very positively. So.
Yeah, and I mean it also has that aspect too, where it's just like, okay, maybe there is interest in it. This is also me just spitballing here. I don't know anything about how games...
Yeah, from my perspective, I always figured Star Fox was the more popular franchise.
I mean, in a vacuum, yes, I agree. Like, the original Star Fox 64 sold a couple million units, which for an N64 game, is a lot.
F-Zero is at a point where folks recognize Captain Falcon more from Smash Bros.
I mean, F-Zero. Don't they recognize Fox more from Smash Brothers than Star Fox?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would listen. I won't exactly deny that the same could be said for Fox, but I think it's more likely folks will recognize Star Fox from Star Fox than Captain Falcon from F-Zero. Because remember, Captain Falcon didn't even have a fucking face, like, until Smash Brothers.
No, the comics and Nintendo Power.
I'm talking strictly games, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would, as someone approaching I would not start with supplementary material.
Yeah, not to mention,
like, I would.
There are probably plenty of people who played F-Zero and didn't even know there was a comic, you know? Like, how... Or even that, like, the characters had names. Like, is the name Captain Falcon mentioned in the actual F-Zero cartridge at any point? Like, I think it's just, like, Blue Falcon...
It's just Blue Falcon.
Yeah. So they're like, the hell is this guy who keeps on saying yes?
Wait, there's somebody in there.
My favorite part of F-Zero is when John F-Zero came out and said it's F-Zero time and F-Zero'd all over everybody.
I mean, isn't that his final Smash, though?
Honestly, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah. I want to make clear, I am not against either franchise getting a new game. But if you were to ask me what I think is more likely, Star Fox. Look, even though I believe F-Zero is way overdue, don't get me wrong. But if I were to be realistic about that sort of thing, I think Star Fox is more likely to get a new game before F-Zero did. Although, to be fair, F-Zero 99, again, has been received well, so hopefully that's a stepping stone.
I just think that in terms of production, I feel like Star Fox is a much harder game to make than F-Zero. Again, I'm saying harder to make. I'm talking in terms of like direction, where do you go? There's a lot more possibilities with Star Fox, which makes it harder to nail down a specific vision versus F-Zero is just make a racing game, which is much more straightforward. That was one of the things that I mentioned.
If it were that easy, though, I think there'd be more games.
I also think that there's just also the matter of Nintendo and them wanting a. I mean, I don't even know what's up with Nintendo a lot of the time because like if we look at Star Fox, for example, like Star Fox Zero. Like that game had such a weird development in that Miyamoto worked on that game, but they also hired Platinum. And the game was in development for a long time too, before it finally came out and ended up being a fairly short project. Fairly short game once you like actually finish it. And I don't really know like what their metric for success even is. Because, like, you get examples like the frickin' Chibi Robo spinoff on 3DS, where they're like, well, if this game doesn't do well, we'll probably not make another Chibi Robo game again. But it's like, this game doesn't play anything like the GameCube Chibi Robo that people actually want a sequel to. It's just a mediocre 2D side-scroller.
2D platformer, yeah.
So it's like, why are you judging the success of one game off of a game with a completely different style than the other? That's like saying, oh, well, if Tetris doesn't do well, then we'll never make another Mario Kart ever again. They're about that connected. The only difference is that, you put Chibi Robo on the game's box for some reason. I don't know why you did that. But yeah, I feel like they keep on wanting to do stuff with Star Fox that gets away from the stuff people like about Star Fox 64, which ultimately is its simplicity. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, I wouldn't mind another attempt at the Assault ideas.
I wouldn't either. I honestly think, though, that it should probably be a different game.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a different game, but I'm just talking about it's like less gimmicky controls and more refine what made the ideas interesting in Assault and bring those back.
Well, by a different game, I think that they should make a Star Fox game like this first and then do something like that. Because remember, Federation Force, Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Yeah.
The game's perfectly fine. I like that game a lot, actually. But when the game was announced, people were really upset because it had been 8+ years since the last Metroid game, and people didn't want a weird spin-off where you did things that were different than normal. They wanted a normal Metroid game. And then a year or two after that, they announced the Metroid Samus Returns remake, and everybody was stoked. And I'm pretty sure we had mentioned in a part on BrainScratch, at least, if they had swapped the release dates for those two games, nobody would have had a problem with Federation Force. I feel like if they were going to do that with Star Fox, they should try to avoid that problem. Because perception is important, and if the idea is that, they don't care about the actual brand, they're just going to put something that they think will sell copies on it, then, well, I don't know how much that actually matters in this particular instance, because if Nintendo wants something to sell copies, they're not going to put the Star Fox branding on it. Oh, that's mean. I'm sorry.
I'm an atheist.
I believe.
Too bad for you.
I believe in science.
Oh man, if Wolf is so great, where's Wolf 2, huh?
Here's Wolf too.
That's
Unfortunately,
the
I only have me and Falco right now, so
well,
they're all going to be on my ass.
I guess that is a place where having the other members of the team does legitimately help, is because they will focus on Fox after their rival is down.
Down, yeah.
Yeah.
And your teammates will not cover you in any meaningful way.
I thought Falco was supposed to be the good one, though.
Doesn't mean he'll actually do anything.
I remember that the only way I eventually did beat some of these was by spamming the loop button so that they'd be behind me.
Yeah,
Hell,
this is just a standard dogfight. It's nothing special. It's probably the hardest fight in the game, honestly.
even when you have all four.
Yeah, because they take a lot of punishment.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, you were able to shoot down Wolf really, really quickly in the.
Well, that was the first one.
Yeah.
They're meant to
This is
be.
the stage I was talking about, though. I this stage gave me the hardest time in my original 64 run, and yeah, there you go, right there. What just happened? I believe it wasn't so much Ryan shooting him down, but they crashed into the environment, and he got hit plus 50 because of it.
You don't just get a plus 50 when you beat them normally?
I am pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure. I might be misremembering, but in my playthrough, I clearly remember getting Wolf or one of his associates to crash into the environment, and I got a big hit bonus because of it. It was very satisfying because, you know, fuck this fight. It's very hectic, and it's very you don't have a lot of hiding
no,
space.
I got a plus 50.
Oh, yeah, it's plus 50. All right, I'm gonna have to look at. I think I showed it off in my 64 review, but I'll have to take a look at it later because I remember it being substantially larger for getting them to crash in the environment.
I do appreciate that they can crash, though, because many games like this would just have them phase through the environment or just like bump off or whatever. It is weird seeing the loading times on what used to be an N64 game, though. I have to say.
It's only a couple seconds.
I know, and I'm not complaining really because they are fairly unintrusive. It's just always weird because I associate in my mind that cartridges don't have load times, so seeing them is kind of odd. Although I suppose, given the 3DS had load times and the Switch has load times, that's just not really true. But the fight's basically the same for this up until like the second phase, right?
Correct.
Okay.
No, he just popped it. It wasn't even a fade. It just popped.
I like how Andross is immune to bullets while he's laughing.
Yeah, I got something in my eye.
Migraine.
Fucking
Brain freeze.
no, you fucking wear glasses and you get that eyelash in your eye.
How the hell does this guy make robots when his hands are so fucking big? Like, how do you type at a computer to actually program these things with hands that big?
That's the thing. It's like, is Andross just the large head with two hands?
I think he's actually a brain in the jar, which is why he becomes a brain. Spoilers, I guess, for 20 seconds from now. Yeah, there we go.
He was waiting all his life to make that pun. Because he was born as a brain with two eyes, you see. And everyone made fun of him, and this is why he started his villain arc. And it's like, you know what? Fuck these guys. And I'm going to give them the cringiest pun when they see my true form.
But that's like the background for like the lore for Andross, right? Like, he was a Lylat scientist, but then he became evil because people didn't like him.
His experiments were too far. It went too far, I think, what it was. They didn't like it, so it's like, they don't understand.
Yes, because as we know, every sci-fi scientist has no ethics and will just do whatever experiment they want with no regard for human life.
Can you guys think of an immediately good example of a sci-fi scientist that's actually good?
I mean,
Dr.
I'm
Light,
I'm having trouble thinking of one that's not like just there to counteract the Bulma, I guess, in Dragon Ball. She's a scientist, and I mean, she's a jerk.
I thought Goku's dad was a scientist.
The brilliant scientist.
Why would they? But like, didn't the Saiyans like just hate anybody who couldn't fight? So why would they even care about science in the first place?
They didn't. That was a bad ocean.
They don't.
That was a bad ocean.
Yeah, it was just an ocean dub thing. Yeah. Your father was an average fighter, but he was a brilliant scientist.
It's like, was he?
Excellent.
Man, I hope they don't release a movie that contradicts that entire statement. I didn't know that our brains could explode.
And so Fox died. The end.
Wow, this game sucks.
Don't ever give up, my son.
Dad?
Father?
Dad, turn the lights off. It's too bright.
Yeah, it's really bright in here.
Ugh, I remember the first time I got here as a kid on the N64, my hands were really shaky because like, oh, I actually have to play this.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, but it's pretty brain dead. You're just following your dad.
Can you shoot your dad?
First, no, he's a ghost.
If you
Also,
go the
the
wrong
sun
way,
was a
you
lot
die.
shorter when I come in. Yes.
Okay. Some of these turns are pretty close, though. Like, it was the last second he turned there.
Yeah. And you have to boost to keep up with him. You can't just sit back and enjoy the ride.
What's there to enjoy?
Dad, can you slow down a bit?
No, the whole place is blowing up. But you're a ghost. You don't
Right.
care.
I was gonna say I'm already dead. I got nothing to fear.
Dad, I need directions. Can I put in my GPS? Dad.
Oh my god. Fucking imagine just a GPS in the future is just a projection of your dead dad leading you to the Denny's.
But we did it. Huzzah.
Mission complete. I mean, accomplished.
Accomplished. Which means you fulfilled. Well, that means you got the gold medal, right?
No, that means you fulfilled the extra requirement.
The extra requirement.
Does
thank you.
every stage have an extra requirement?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some by default will just give you a mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's no other.
But yeah, if you finish stage though and you get a mission complete, you didn't do everything in that stage.
Wow, I'm glad Slippy and Peppy are okay.
Falco, on the other hand, is not okay.
Falco is. It seems Falco is a health bar.
You did it.
Yay, we did it.
So yeah, this does look like the best version of the game, I would have to say. Although I think this is one of the more expensive 3DS games because there's a
Yes, it
hacking
is.
exploit for it. Hold on. Let me look up right now how much the average copy on eBay is going for. Oh, it has the ugly ass Nintendo Select. Oh, well, that's the version that doesn't. Oh, okay. You know, I'm seeing some actually. It must have gone down at some point because they probably patched out whatever thing it was. But yeah, I'm seeing copies for like less than $50, which isn't bad for a game this old, all things figured. Although it's definitely not as easy to get where you could previously just like download it.
Yeah. Pale blue dot.
Do you go back to this often, Ryan?
Watch out! It's gonna crash.
Do I go back to this often?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go back to my 3DS that often, but this is one of the games I go back to when I do pull it out.
That makes sense. It is.
Because I can beat, as you said, I can beat this in an hour.
Do you try to do the hard mode whenever you replay it, or do you just like play whatever?
I just play whatever.
Okay. I know this part from the Smash Brothers. And it's flying through the city. Wow.
Wait, I forgot. Was Corneria a tournament?
No.
Legal stage?
Oh, because the thing.
Yeah, because of the Great Fox lasers and the R-Wings.
I thought the R-Wings didn't shoot you most of the time in Corneria.
They could, though. Is
No,
the
they
thing.
did. Yeah, they could, though. Yeah.
Like, I thought that there was like
stage
a
hazards.
setting where like they shot a bunch and then they normally didn't really shoot ever.
No, not
Okay.
in Melee.
You're thinking of event mode.
Oh.
There is an event mode stage where they are hyper aggressive.
And they like bitch at you the whole time, right?
Bitch, 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 bitch. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh man, you just read some of Falco's dialogue word for word. I'm impressed.
He's got a butt for a face. Oh, we don't like commitments.
There are Muppets. There's literal episodes of the Muppet Show that are more expressive than this.
It's time for us to go now.
And to be fair, Star Fox team does handle more jobs than just Cornerian Army stuff, at least compared to Samus anyway.
Yeah, like they weren't hired by the army to do Star Fox Adventure, right?
They were.
Okay. Well, I think we've only ever really seen them do stuff for the army, but we very specifically see them get paid for mercenary work. Why, guys, you have a fucking ship. Why are you running?
They're running back to the ship.
The ships are all the way over
How
there.
far away did they have to park?
Well, it was really busy. And the Space Uber is down. They're on strike.
This could be a nice screensaver.
I wouldn't like just take a screen grab of this. I'd probably just like redraw it or re-illustrate it. I do love the shot of like the Great Fox.
No, wait, well,
appear
hold
from the
on,
horizon.
Rob. You could have picked us up. What the hell are you doing?
Which is funny because I didn't know like Melee's opening was paying homage to this in a blink or miss it moment.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Melee's opening in forever.
Yeah, there's a shot of where they're running across the valley like this, and the Gray Fox is slowly emerging from the
Star Fox part of
background.
the opening I remember is like when they like Fox and Wolf are like shooting at each other in the sky, and I think it's like right after Kirby's on the Warp Star.
Yeah, which made me think Wolf was in the game.
Well, Ridley was in the opening, and as we all know,
Yeah.
Ridley's illegal. He can't be in Smash Brothers.
Also, the Blues Brothers and Earthbound were in that intro too, and they're not in the game.
Yeah.
I would love it if the Blues Brothers from the real world were in
Yeah.
Smash Brothers as opposed to from Earthbound.
Just straight up, just Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, Belushi.
Aykroyd and Belushi.
This fucking Aykroyd is tossing Belushi like Pikmin.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a clone of Olimar and Pikmin, but John Belushi's only purple Pikmin.
Oh, they used straight up the 64 credits for this, because that still showed Hiroshi Yamamuchi as the and then they do
Yeah, but then you have a separate credits. Generally, how it does.
there have been a couple of games in recent memory that have not done that, which have been
Prime remastered anyone?
yeah
They didn't Prime Remaster do that?
yeah they didn't
got a lot of shit
have
for
any
that.
of the previous
Original staff.
in the credits, which you should do, generally speaking, have the original team credited, especially if it's like a 1-for-1 remake like this.
Yeah, the 3D team is just a blank black screen with their names on it. So, hi, Nate Builder and Leslie Swan. Nice to see you guys still around.
I feel like I guess they must time the ending sequence to the credits very specifically, because if I were in charge, I just would have had the credits go by faster and used the same background. But I guess at least it's quick, you know. Listen, after having played Sega games and Ubisoft games, if the credits aren't that high, then that aren't that long, then
I love that you get an invoice in this game.
man, you can't even pay for college with that. What the Star Fox needs to be charging more for their services. They literally saved the galaxy.